Thanks for staying with us. It's still live on Daybreak, and the conversation definitely continues. You can be rest assured Dr. Diakade has not gone anywhere. He's still here with us. Yes, the focus is what it is, talking about what's trending, not just within the social space, but across the minds of several Nigerians, even in terms of determining the future of this nation over the next 4 years. As I said earlier, the process starts from the primaries, not just the general elections, and it's all about the APC convention that is ongoing at this time, the intrigues, the drama, and the debates that would, definitely ensure from all of this. That's what we'll be talking about, and Dr. Diakade is still here with us. Dr. D.
Yeah, you forgot to add, the battle for the presidential race too, because it's all a battle.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big battle in.
It's a big battle
at the convention.
Eagle Square, the center.
Right. Yeah.
Let's start with the very basic, the preparation. I mean, by now it should have been wrapped up. It should have been a clear-cut winner, and what would have just occurred at this time would have been the process of uniting the party, but we're still divided.
There is nothing that characterizes APC other than shoddiness.
Okay.
In terms of, even when APC came to power, it took them time to realize that they won that presidency. That they won that election. It took them time. Because if it did not take them time, they will have known that they should hit the ground immediately. Immediately. And that's why the government was just there until after about
6 months?
More than 6 months.
For the ministers to come on board.
Sure. Do you understand? Even thereafter, what happened? The things they're supposed to have done, that they left undone, that is why we are where we are today. So, for the shoddy preparation towards this convention, without having direction of where to go, until when they got to that place, they were still scheming. Yep. They were still not sure. Even up till now, they are still not sure of where they're going. So I'm not surprised. It's expected.
As at 3:45, you had only 3 states who had voted.
They were still voting as of
6 a.m.
Yes.
After 6, I left my house. Yeah. I left my house at about 6:30. Voting was still on.
That from Osun State delegate, yes.
Osun. Then later they called the Delta
State.
Delta. You understand? Still going on. How many delegates, for goodness sake?
They have over 2,000 delegates from.
So
compared to the PDP that had about 700.
Listen, I say so. Even our general election, our general election that involves millions of people. I mean, it's not like this.
Dr. Report reaching us right now at this moment, the counting of the votes is ongoing. So hopefully by in a few hours, we'll see the winner emerging. But then looking at how the lineup of events, people stepping down at the dying hour, definitely Bankole, it felt as though he was a bit unstable, coming up to say after talking, his time was up. He said one more thing. He came up again to say, I'm ready to support whoever the party decides, and then after at our plus he came up to say, I am stepping down for
and those are the kind of people that party is throwing up. If you even listen to so many of them talking that yesterday, I was glued to my this till about 2:45 when I remember I have to be at iBrand early this morning just to quickly catch some sleep. I was listening to a lot of that. I say, wow, look at the way what's his name? Yaya Bello.
Yeah, Bello.
Then Pastor Bakari.
Oh, well, he's a pastor. I got the name already.
Along the line, there are other. Anywhere you are, talking as if that place was his pulpit. When the lady that was the lady that was in charge was coming to tell him about time.
Allow me talk.
He said, allow me. I said, that was his topic. No. As a person, you're supposed to have courtesy. You're talking to not only Nigerians. You're being watched all over the world. You can say, excuse me, please. Do you understand? Rather than harassing the lady.
Of the aspirants.
But out of all of them, the one that, honestly, you know, I'm not
biased, yeah.
I won't be biased in anything. Two people caught my fancy. The way Asiwaju comported himself,
You're the first person to come up.
which was a departure from his outburst
In Abeokuta.
in Abeokuta, honestly speaking, caught my attention. Even though he was saying virtually the same thing, but in different ways now. You putting in some kind of courtesy, showing that, okay, delegates, you are supreme.
Don't forget that Abeokuta, he didn't have a written down script. He came up with about how many pages of the script. It could be
Asiwaju that I know doesn't need script to talk.
But he did
anytime.
that. Probably that's why he was maybe.
No, this time around, he didn't want to make that same mistake
Okay.
that happened, because he must have been, or he must have realized his outburst. Okay. Now, after him, the last person, Osinbajo,
Okay.
he came out as somebody who meant business. He showed that he meant business. Okay. Even though he was busy, I'm not sure he's used to wearing this Agbada. I was busy with his, and then people were, hailing him, chatting, cheering him, and all that. Yeah. I give it. Is a well prepared person, especially when he was showing us that, look, I've been with the president for 7 years, and he has now seen how things play out, the intricacies, even though that's not his way, but that's the intricacies of governance. He has seen it, not as an outsider like me or some other people. I wouldn't want to mention names. Yeah, he directed. I know some people on the other side, if you look at you this stupid boy. I know you are. Do you understand? But then it made sense. Unlike, oh my goodness, our brother Iberibe. Iberibe just
now
he came to that place, and a lot of a whole load of them. Peradventure, that was what President Buhari didn't want us to showcase to the world. That was now saying, look, let us streamline these people. Again, some of them stepping down. The way they step down, you will know that somebody somewhere had bought them that ticket. They don't have that 100 million to just before you can take that on, you'll be ready to carry 100 million, put it down, then put it on fire. Do you understand? Again, another thing people should also look at. When somebody was talking, I was looking at Lowo Iso. Whatever. I don't know the way I was seeing the traces.
The hand of Esau, the voice of Jacob.
Yes, the traces of the Chinese.
I know.
The Chinese.
Because
the Chinese will not want to lose grip on the investments that they are building up in Nigeria. And I know that through Nigeria, they can capture Africa. So people should be careful.
Let's get down to, yes, we've just talked about, the various, or you have just talked about the various aspirants and some of the things they said.
Some of my observations.
Yes. Let's bring it down to the nuances of, their various arguments. Again, it's all about, constructive debates at this time on how to move the nation forward. It may be difficult to streamline it to ideologies because for those who spoke, not everyone, could really, explicitly state the ideology that would drive their policies. But we heard the vice president, for example, I'll start with that, talking about how, we can be innovative, be one of the best economies,
Sure.
security and all of that. You know, he made references to several industries and movements here in Nigeria, similarly tilting towards capitalism.
And that's why we give it to him.
So let's start from, you know, the vice president's speech and would, you know, review others. From the vice president's speech, do you think that at this time, this decisive moment in our history as a nation, that speech reflects solutions to the peculiar challenges we are facing?
100%.
Okay.
100%. And that's why I said himself and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even though Tinubu did not really come up with
Policies?
a visible ideology or how is going to tackle some of these issues or the expectations. Do you understand? It was rather appealing to the delegates. All right? Unlike Oshibajo, that came up forcefully on an ideological movement that can take Nigeria out of the doodrome. Okay? So, with that, in all truth, without any form of bias, and then for him to have also concluded that, look, for my 7 years, I have seen the intricacies, the nuisances of governance, that based on that, on his first day, he will hit the ground rolling. Honestly, I will give it to him.
All right, now let's look at the aside of Oshibajo's statement. A lot of people made statements, and one striking one is the one, well, for me, based on what he said, is the Minister of Transportation, well, the self-acclaimed Lion of Niger Delta.
Now, if you
hire me and fire me.
Those ones are
Political.
I don't want to say political, say Dakara statements. Who are you deceiving?
Dr. Dayo, he mentioned some certain things, and well, I am not in support of anybody yet, but I'm just saying that he mentioned.
I'm not in support of anybody too.
Some things about being the most qualified, what he did in River State, hiring of doctors, and well, to some extent, River State under his administration wasn't that bad. Because I was in River State at that point, it wasn't that bad. So with all of those statements, having to mention, this is me not being biased, so having to mention all of those things he did, we could see when it comes to education, he did a lot of things, of course, with the primary sector in River State, state-of-the-art standard model schools. When it comes to, of course, he mentioned the doctors and buying cards for the doctors to retain their services in River State. So with what we have, the brain drain in the medical society and the medical system and the shaky educational system, I know those were the two strong points he raised during his speech.
All those things he mentioned, were they true? Akpabio, I'll give you an instance. Akpabio, when he was governor of
Akwa
Ibom, and he was handing over, he said he has built the best state-of-the-art hospital for that state. He had a small headache out of one small crash
in
Abuja. He traveled out of the country. Unlike Baba Afe Babalola, who used to go out of the country before for medical checkup. But because in his university in Ado Ekiti, he has built a state-of-the-art health center, hospital, medical facility. He doesn't go abroad again for medical checkup. So what are we talking? What has he done? Let him take us to that same state and then show us his legacy as regards infrastructural development. Let him take us there. I listened to him yesterday. What did he say? What was his ideology?
Comparing it to other
What?
candidates like Ben Ayade.
Listen, I have compared them. I just didn't want to go into details. The two people that made much sense to me as a person, much sense to me, I've analyzed them. Both Asiwaju and Osinbajo, they both have what we call governance temperament. You know, there is also what we call governance temperament too. Not even he doesn't have 1% of it. And that's the truth. Some of them, I wouldn't want to mention his name again so that it won't be as if there is a... So it too doesn't have. So many of them.
I mean, to get us through, you know, that distant horizon that we have, you know, in our sights, where Nigeria is more prosperous, more, you know, secure, and more inclusive and just. We need someone to make hard decisions, someone to call the shots. And we can't dispute the fact that, you know, your major parties would have a place, you know, or a say in that future when it comes to general elections. The PDP is settled, Labour Party with Peter Obi is while looking at the APC. Among the aspirants and how they've addressed not just the delegates but also Nigerians, who do you think?
Are you talking of APC?
APC now.
Or together with the PDP and
APC.
Labour?
I'm streamlining to APC now. You know, we'll do that when there's a clear-cut winner. We can now, you know, look at the flag bearers for all the parties.
Okay.
But within the APC, on the basis of their speech, their addresses to, you know, the delegates and Nigerians as a whole, who can you bank on that can make those hard, tough decisions to get us through out of, you know, this dystopia we're in?